Hello, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Mostly Yelling podcast. I'm your host, Greg Kennelty. You might know me as the former editor of Metal Injection or as a contributor to Decibel and Loudwire and GearGods and a bunch of other places. Or you might know me as the musician behind Disintegration Annex. Whatever the case, I'm really glad you're here because I'm going to be talking to a lot of musicians and label people and PR people and even music fans about heavy metal and just the state of music right now and anything else that comes up. I really want to get to know people's passions within the music world. I think that's incredibly interesting and really important. My first guest is Mr. Esben Willems, who is the drummer of Monolord and Slower and Moore's Umbra and the musical brain behind Chaos Under the Sun. He also owns Studio Berserk in Gothenburg, which I can attest has some of the best coffee I think I've ever had. Not that you could just go up there and get coffee, but I'm telling you, I've had it and it's very good. I met Esben about 4 years ago on my first ever trip to Gothenburg, Sweden. I didn't know anyone at the city at the time, and Roger Anderson from Suicide Records had hit me up on Facebook saying, hey, I don't really know you, you don't really know me, but let's go out, get a beer, talk metal, see what happens. So I met Roger down at Benion's, and one beer turned into quite a few beers, and, people started cycling in and out of the bar, and one of the people that walked in was Esben. And I recognized him pretty much instantly from when he walked into the bar. I was like, oh my god, that's the drummer for Monolord. I should go and introduce myself, say hi. And here we are 4 years later. I had brought this podcast up to Esben, and I had promised him that he would be the first guest on whenever I decided to do something, and now I've decided to do something, and he is the first guest. So, here we go. Alright, I am joined by Mr. Esben Willems, whose name I probably pronounced wrong, so I will let him introduce himself with a much better pronunciation.
Nice. Mr. even. That's amazing.
You know me, man. I'm going to try to keep things as formal as possible on this podcast.
I'm sorry about I didn't dress for it, but yeah, next time, I promise.
Nobody can see this, but I'm actually wearing a three-piece suit right now, and
yeah, I can see that, and it's beautiful, and it suits you. Yeah, I love it, and I feel ashamed.
No, you should feel ashamed, honestly. I'm embarrassed for you.
That's how I wake up in the morning, and it's Esben Willems with as if it was a V. Because it's Dutch. And you're not the first one. It's fine.
Cool, man. So you guys just got back from tour. You are home now. And so you went from the West Coast to Italy and then back to Sweden. So you were just having all the good coffee, huh?
Yes, correct. I mean, all the yes. With a pit stop in Denmark at the Roskilde festival. But yeah, we're home for 1 day and then we played there and then I went to Italy. But yeah. Lots of good coffee.
California, Sweden, Denmark, Sweden, Italy, and then back home.
No, Denmark, straight to Italy, actually. Yeah.
Still, how was the festival?
It was kind of a childhood dream playing there. That was amazing. We got the question during the US tour. There was a cancellation, and they asked us, "Do you want to play?" I was like, "Are you kidding? This festival? Yes, all the yes." So we had to rearrange and move a lot of stuff, but we made it work. So home for 1 day, got there, played the show at, I think it was half an hour past midnight, something. It's crazy. A lot of people showed up, so it was fun. And then I flew to Italy the next morning.
That's fantastic. I'm sure, playing the festival too must have been, I hesitate to say easier, but having been on tour already, you kind of have your set list nailed down and all that stuff. So it's just, I would imagine, just kind of showing up and playing, right?
Usually, yes. This one was a little bit upside down because we had to we had to arrange a lot of things to make this work. And we were jet lagged out of our minds, gotten home 1 day prior. And going east is always it's the worst. Going west is fairly easy. It's kind of you're fucked up the same night, but the next morning it's kind of fine. But going east, going back home, it takes a week before you're back at it. It's crazy. Everything's upside down. So like in the middle of the night was kind of afternoonish to the body or to the brain. So yeah, it was kind of weird.
And you've done that twice now, right? Because you worked with Sylvia Massey out in Oregon and then came home and then went back to the West Coast. What, maybe under a year later, something like that?
Oh yeah, but that's so far in between too. that's not connected in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, just getting used to it, you know. And speaking of Sylvia Massey, I mean, how was working with her? I know that's kind of a generic question, but I mean, the amount of videos that I've seen of that woman just being incredibly just ingenious with her studio magic and the way that she goes about the creative process and all that must have been incredibly inspiring to have somebody that pushes you in all these weird different directions.
Yeah, I mean, I've also seen all the videos, and it was like that. Honestly, it was. She was inspired every morning. I have seen very few people like that coming to the studio every morning. Is like, hey guys, have you seen this? I found this weird box that does weird things. Let's try this today. Or just talking about riffs, or suddenly 2 weeks in, just stopping everything and saying, hey, you talk a lot about old school Swedish death metal. I don't know that much about it. Let's have a break and you can educate me. She just sat down for an hour or two and just listened to Old Entombed and Dismember, and she was like, "Oh yeah, this is nice. This was recorded to tape. I can hear." So yeah, it was super inspiring, and she was this for me. This was the only time in a recording environment where I felt completely relaxed. That has never happened to me before. I mean, I like recording, and I kind of it's a love hate relationship. But in a weird way, I enjoy the process the same way I enjoy getting a tattoo. It hurts, but it's part of the ritual, and I like the result of it. Uh, but it's all yeah, it's anxiety filled, and it's not very pleasant, and it's stressful, and it's all the bad things, along with the feeling of creating something together and knowing where this is leading. But she made us feel comfortable right away, which was amazing. It was such a good feeling. This is like getting up, getting a cup of coffee, going to the studio, and just enjoying yourself for 4 weeks. So that was incredible.
I would imagine being in an environment like that too must have been really inspiring to, come into, I guess, effectively work, but not feel stressed about the work that you're about to be doing. Like, coming in and just saying like, hey, what do we want to work on today? Because you guys were there for what, a few weeks, right?
4 weeks in total, yeah. So recording for 2 or 3 weeks, overlapping at the end with the start of mixing. So we were there for 1 week of 1.5 week of mixing as well. And we had prepared everything beforehand, so there was no writing in the studio. Everything was well rehearsed and prepared. So we recorded like I think 3, 4 ish more songs than ended up on the album. But I actually thought I would be more stressed because of the environment, because of working with a name like her. It's like, fuck, we have to really level up here. And it didn't feel like that. The first meeting with her in real life was Esben and the biggest hug. And it was like that the whole time. She was just continuously inspired by music, which is inspiring in itself. Seeing someone that has done everything with everyone for so many years, still being like, oh, this riff, all this music, all this harmony, this just loving music so much. That's incredible. That was the big takeaway for me, still having that and still finding that, not being jaded at all. Just being like this every morning. Yes, another day of music. That was incredible.
And it sounds like too, like she wasn't just, just excited about recording you guys, but to talk music. And you were saying that, you had shown her some Swedish death metal. Is that how Jorgen had gotten the guest spot on the final track, or was that kind of already in
That
motion?
was already in motion because that song, when Thomas wrote it, he laid down some scratch vocals in that style, but didn't feel he could deliver that properly. So we talked about a guest vocalist early on. So yeah, that was prior to that discussion. So that wasn't really because of any death metal connection. It was just like that song needed that, and Jürgen wanted to do it. So yeah,
And you can't say no, right? Because Grave is an incredible band. So
I mean, his vocals on that song is insane,
he's
insane.
just got such a depth to it. I remember the first time you had actually shown me that song. I think I smiled the entire time. I don't think a smile left my
Yeah,
face because
same.
just every section, it's like, oh my god, okay, that's the heaviest part. Nope, hold on, there's more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my god, what a crusher! It's just truly incredible.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. I remember getting his vocals. We're back at the apartment, done for the day in the studio. Got the vocals from him and just loaded it into the Pro Tools I had with me. This is like this is wild. This is incredible. I didn't expect this at all. And the other guys felt the same. And getting back to the studio the next day, Sylvia had gotten the vocals. She was just like, "Did you hear the vocals?" She loved them as well. So yeah, that song became something I couldn't predict. I had no idea.
But it feels like such a logical conclusion to the record because I mean, listening to it, you can
Yeah, doesn't it? Doesn't it? It's yeah, yeah.
yes,
Yes.
because you can hear like that kind of Boss HM2 sort of chainsaw sound throughout. Like there's not, it doesn't smack you in the face right at the end. Like it feels like kind of this very logical lead up of, you know, like some mid-paced rockers, some slow stuff, lot of guitar harmonies and things like that. And then finally, right at the bottom, right at the very end, you were just absolutely decimated by this last song. And I thought that was incredibly cool too, because Your Time to Shine was much, I guess I don't want to say brighter, but it was, for all intents and purposes, a lighter record than Neverending. I mean, Neverending is just, it starts dark and then it just gets fucking worse.
Perfect. Thank you.
Of course, there you go. It gets worse. The new Monolord record out next year.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
There
It's a wrap. No, but yeah, yes, I agree. And it felt like that when everything was recorded and we started discussing the sequence of the album. That one had to be last. It had to conclude the album. It should maybe, from a commercial standpoint, be earlier on, but it felt like it is creatively and in the context of things. This has to be the end credits on the movie. It has to be there. It has to finish the album. And to me, it sounds so much Monolord, and I don't know why. I can't explain that. It's like this is peak what I feel we sound like, and there's a guest vocalist in there, but there's something in his. I think it's something in his vocals elevates Thomas' vocals even more to me. I love the contrast between the two. It makes his vocals harsher, and it makes Thomas' vocals even more subtle, maybe.
Right, like these kind of differing aspects of vocal approach that come together on this song that is still pretty damn heavy, but it just kind of all congeals into this really just disgusting mass right at the end. I mean,
Yeah,
it's vile, man. I love it.
yeah, same. I'm
But
proud of it.
and now you had just mentioned something interesting, saying that, you know, maybe the song should have been earlier from a commercial standpoint and all that. Does that ever play into your choices for what goes on the record? Because I know you said you had recorded more songs that ended up being on the record. So does that kind of come into play with Sylvia, with Relapse, with anyone like that? Or is it kind of, hey, you know, we envision this as this specifically, and that's just kind of it?
I mean, yes and no. A mix of all of that. We're lucky to having a label that really gives us a lot of creative freedom with things like that. For example, they don't dictate that this song has to be this or this song has to be the first single. Or they have opinions about it, of course, but we always have the last say in things like that. So I mean, the song sequence discussion on this one was similar to what it's been on prior albums, where we just discussed which songs should be in which order to where every song elevates everything else, which is the hard part, and which is I think it's the attraction with an album, the album format, because a collection of songs in a specific order, in the right order, makes everything even bigger, which I feel is incredibly hard. It's really hard because flipping two songs can change the entire album, and it can change those two songs because they're in a different place, maybe the wrong place, and it can deflate everything even. But speaking of creative freedom in those choices, I mean, we discussed it with Sylvia because she produced the album and we wanted her input on it. But we decided it with her, if that was the question. So yeah.
So now, like, as far as, going back to, extra songs and stuff like that, was it written as just kind of a collection of songs, and then once you had everything recorded, you thought, okay, great, like this is the order? Because I totally agree. There are definitely some records that, it's like, oh my God, if they would have just cut track 6 and like maybe chop track 7 in half, this would have been so damn good. And they didn't nail it. But, again, going back to your situation, is it ordering afterward, or is it kind of writing with the order in mind?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was ordering afterward. Yeah. Recording the collection of songs and then choosing from that. Well, this collection of songs, which, whatever, I forget how many on this one, but 8 maybe? Hello, how many is it?
Yeah, I think it's.
Which of these?
Yeah, it's 8.
Which 8 songs of these fit together? And it's kind of, I feel it's really hard to say before you properly record it, because when you record something, it blooms and or deflates even, but something happens when you record it, when you properly produce something, and it's kind of, oh, this is what this song looks like, or sounds like, or feels like. And it's very often something quite different than what you envisioned. And that also means that it's hard to decide beforehand that it has to be these songs in this sequence. And I know it works for some bands. I've never really understood that, because to me, something happens in the studio, something happens when you record music that it's hard to predict. And I don't want to predict that. I think it's inspiring not to know what happens, and kind of allowing that to happen. Like a song with Neverending with Jørgen. I could never predict that to be that song. Even if I knew from the get-go that it would be him, I would never have thought that it would have become that song. But it did. And it made a huge impact on the sequencing and the vibe of the album and everything else. So yeah.
Because you're right. I think there's that magic moment where something comes together when you're recording it or anything like that you think, my God, this is amazing. And yeah, you can't predict that, but it's just that smile across the face, everyone is almost laughing sort of situation, and it all comes together. And to plan it almost feels like robbing people of that magic, of experiencing everyone collectively having the same idea at the same time.
Yes, I agree. But then again, I wouldn't say it's wrong to do so if that's what you prefer. To each their own, of course. I mean, but to me, I want to leave that open. I think I think it's interesting. Surprises are nice, always.
So now going back to the West Coast, I see you have your Mizmor shirt on. That band is awesome. I mean, well, you were touring with them, and
yeah, amazing.
Disgusting, just totally vile, just really just
yeah,
murky, gloomy, foggy, gross, blackened, I guess, death metal sort of.
You tell me, but I love it. I think it's amazing. And the finest human beings you can imagine. So nice people. The best traveling part. Yeah, it was great. Felt so good touring with them, and they crushed it every night. It was incredible. Yeah, really, really good band.
And now you've got the tour coming up with Chemist as well. Do you know those guys yet, or is this going to be like, hey, show up and just get to know them? Because I think you guys have played some festivals together, right?
We probably have. I don't think I have met them. Maybe Thomas and Mika has, but I don't think we've met them. No. So it's more. There was a suggestion, and we felt like, hell yeah, let's try it. Feels like a good package.
They their last record, the self-titled one that they just put out is great. They have a new bassist too, and that guy shreds. I'm actually really excited to see them live, because every playthrough video of them I've seen is just beefy, just it feels like an explosion of their sound. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be interesting.
But going back to the new record too, with the new record, you guys have historically been categorized as a doom band, but I don't really think that is the case anymore, and I don't really think that was the case on the last record either. So is that kind of a detriment to be labeled as a doom band or a stoner rock band or anything like that when you're really not? It feels more like slow death metal at this point.
Oh, that's nice. I haven't heard that before. Slow death metal, yes. Hell yes. I mean, personally, I don't care. We get the genre question a lot about, is this Doom? If you think it is, then it is. If you don't think it is, then it's not. I mean, I really don't care. And I also don't care if you want to call it Doom or Sludge or Stoner or whatever. It's fine. For us, it's more been like we have between the three of us, we have kind of a reference um, on what we feel sounds and feels like Monolord, and there's never any discussions about Doom in there. It's more like a feeling, what sounds like us, what feels like us, and what feels like the combination of the three of us, the difference in between the three of us. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's also the reason that there's been albums where people have reacted on, hey, what's this? This is not the Monolord I love. This is wrong. And to us, it's just been a natural step in whatever direction because the band is evolving all the time, and so are we as humans. And we're really different as humans. We have different frames of reference. There's a lot going on in the creative process. Even though Thomas writes all music, there's a lot happening when the three of us come together and finalizes the music. So I don't know if that was a response to what you asked, even. If yeah, it can be Doom if you wanna, and it cannot if you don't wanna. I mean, I more and more tend to just describe it as heavy or slow metal or heavy rock or something. I don't know. Yeah. I don't care really.
But do you think that it's, I guess, offensive in a way for music fans to kind of say, hey, this isn't the Monolord that I've kind of come to know and love, because it is the Monolord that they've come to know and love. You are different people now, I don't understand the fans that want the band to be the same band for the next 15, 20 years, because none of us are the same people for 15 or 20 years, or at least you shouldn't be the same person for 15 or 20 years. Expand your horizons, listen to new stuff, meet new people, stuff like that. So do you find that to be a little bit frustrating when people say it doesn't sound like Monolord? Because for all intents and purposes, it is Monolord. It's you three guys.
Yeah. I don't not during this band's existence, I don't think. I was 40 when we started Monolord, which is kind of 20 years older than when you start a band. So I guess I was too old to give a fuck already then. So I care about a lot of things, but when it comes to genre labels or labels in general, I don't care. I mean, we got that really early on. I remember Mika. I think it was the first tour. Someone was really pissy online about Mika having the wrong bass because it was the wrong kind of that doesn't fit in this genre. And we had a laugh about it. And it's been things like that has been going on always because we don't fit the mold. It was kind of I don't I'm the correct age and gender, but I don't have the big beard and I don't have the correct record collection and all that. I mean, yeah, it's boring. Gatekeeping is boring, I feel.
Because at what point then does a genre stop becoming just kind of like a healthy descriptor to help people understand, like, this is roughly what this band sounds like, and start becoming this kind of cage that people lock bands into? I think that's so useless.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, it is. But I mean, as a general description of something, I think it's fine. That's also why I'm fine with describing it as a doom band because it kind of roughly describes at least the origins of the band, maybe. But it doesn't sound like a typical doom band now, I think. But maybe it does to some, and maybe some songs I mean, there are some elements on the latest album that still sounds like fairly traditional Doom to me, slow and down-tuned and all that, but it's hard. I mean, not hard in the sense that I'm offended by it. I honestly don't care, but it's hard to know how to use genre labels because it's helpful, of course, but it's also very misleading at the same time. I can feel it's really hard to. I mean, when you and I privately discuss music, and I ask you what kind of music is this, it's. I mean, I think it's hard sometimes to describe it. It can be kind of diminishing to say that it's metal, it's death metal, like it's some generic whatever, and everything interesting has so much more than just a genre label slapped on it, I guess.
Well, it's so odd because like for death metal purists, for instance, like oh well, there's only this certain era of time, or there's only certain these bands, and things like that. But at the same time, if you are a death metal purist, you probably enjoy bands like Obituary and Cannibal Corpse and Cynic and Bolt Thrower and all the classics and all that stuff. But none of those bands sound like each other. So how can they all possibly be death metal? How can you possibly be a purist about a genre, but then you also have created this amalgam of artists that don't sound like one another? Then how can you exclude certain bands or certain artists from the conversation when you yourself have constructed this really strange sort of behemoth?
Both how and also why. What's the goal with it? Okay, it's not death metal. Well, it's still good. So now what? I mean, what's the end goal with deciding that something is, for example, not death metal? Can still be great. Does it matter, or I don't know. I kind of don't understand the understand the discussion. I understand the need to be like, if you're 17 years old and you love music, I've been there, and you want to be, I'm death metal or I'm whatever, and you really want to connect to that. But I mean, you also need to be curious. You need to listen to a lot of music. You need to get all kinds of inputs from everywhere, I guess. I think genres are weird and vague, in a sense, and that might also be why I don't care anymore. I also kind of let go of even understanding where the genre limits are or what is what, because I sometimes don't understand it. I listen to something and I really love it, and someone tells me that it's this genre, and okay, fine. Yeah, I don't care.
The record
It's
that I'm
just,
listening to is still the record. So.
yeah, exactly. It doesn't change anything for me. I really don't care. It's fine.
Well, especially for you. I mean, you've got Chaos Under the Sun, you've got a few other bands. Like, so for you, I mean, and listening to your output, you know, you are pretty genre agnostic. You're just sort of doing whatever you want. And I think there's a really beautiful freedom in that kind of, approach to music where you're just taking different elements and just sort of just running with it and seeing where it goes. Because then you get a band like Monolord where, every record is a little bit different. Every record does draw from different places, but it's still at its core, you know, you guys. It's still your writing, your thoughts, your influences, and that's irreplaceable. I mean that is a beautiful thing.
I agree totally, and thank you. I mean, I think that's how music creating should be. I was just listening to Andrew Black, one of the guys in Mismore in the Mismore live band. One of his EPs. It's fucking incredible. It's great, but it's completely something else than what Mismore does. It's kind of very, very drony, aerial, electronica, something. Again, with the genres, it probably has a very specific label I'm not aware of, but it's great. It's amazing, and it's completely disconnected from anything black metal or anything dark that Mismore does. But it's great, and I can still, knowing him a little bit, I can somewhat see the connection in there, although that connection is not necessarily a genre connection. It's kind of, I can see why this guy makes this music. I can see the connection there. but it's not the connection in, oh, this genre overlaps with this one. There's something else that connects, and I love that. That's kind of, he's just doing what he loves.
Well, I think you brought up a really good point too, because, like you said, trying to approach it from, well, this guy plays in a heavy band and he's making this music, so how can I kind of draw these parallels between these two things? But your approach is getting to know the person. And I think that is worlds different, because once you know somebody's personality, once you kind of know just them as a person, like just what their favorite foods are and what they like to do and stuff like that, then you can get a much clearer picture, I think, of the art that they make. And like it makes a lot more sense. It really contextualizes what they're doing in the artistic world.
Yes, absolutely. Spot on. I agree.
It's fun to get to know people in that regard too, because then, yeah, I mean, you could see their personalities come out in their music. And I mean, same with you. I mean, I've known you for, geez, how many years now? 4? And just all the stuff you sent me, like, even if it was blind, I could be like, oh, okay. Like, I could see where he's coming from, because I know the music that he makes. We've gotten lunch countless times and seen a few shows now. So you get to know how people operate in the creative world. And I think that is just so incredibly interesting.
I agree. Yeah, so much. That's why I love side projects. I think it's amazing getting to know other people and getting to know getting to learn the language it is to play with someone else. It's very enriching, and it's frightening, and it's inspiring. It's everything at once. It's like all synapses are firing. I think it's incredible. I love that. And it's always, I don't want to dive too deep into the ongoing AI discussion because it's getting fatiguing, but I think it that human element is part of why I'm not that stressed out about AI, because I think the need for the human connection is not going to go away. It's going to be, people want the human connection in some form, in some way, and I think that's the big part in music. That's why music is fucking magic. It's incredible. You can make someone feel something by playing music to them. You can make them cry or smile or feel something just by sending airwaves in their direction, that is pure magic to me. And it's pure magic as a receiver as well. Listening to a new album is like, fuck, this broke my heart. I want to listen to this again. Or this made me feel whatever way, but it made me feel something that I didn't feel before I listened to it. And that is, I think it's pure magic. And if I were to pick one reason why I make music, I think that would be the reason. It's, there's something in there that it would take the magic out of a life not having music.
And I think what you brought up a really good point too of it's magic. I mean, it really is. Like when it comes down to it, music is just straight up magic. And to create is really to live. I mean, there really is no other way around it. Because you know how it is, right? Like you sit down and maybe hash out an idea that you've had for a while and it just never works, never works, never works. And then all of a sudden one day you sit down and everything comes into place and you're like, oh,
that feeling.
Oh my God, that's it. Like that's the thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And it just
exactly.
Oh, what a rush. What a feeling to get that moment.
Yes. Oh yeah. I live for that. That's the best thing. I mean, yeah. Yes. What was the what's the label? Not label. The company called Juno.
Yeah, Suno. Yeah, motherfuckers.
The Suno CEO would, and his moronic statement about no one wants to create music is like, what in the actual fuck are you talking about? That's the core drive. That's why we do this.
The creative process is 99% of the fun. Don't get me wrong. The final product is great too, but it's that finding of new sounds or that fine tuning of an idea to where you're like, oh, okay, like this is done now. Like this is for real the thing that I was trying to do. And yeah, to say that, well, nobody enjoys creating music, and it's like, well, one of two things is happening then. Either you don't create music or you are a soulless jackass. And that's probably both. But
Probably, yeah. But that's interesting with the creative process being 99% of it, because I feel as a creator of music, I feel it's almost 100% of it, because when it's done, it's not as interesting anymore. When the album is out, I don't listen to it anymore. I'm still proud of it, but I'm not interested in listening to it anymore. I very rarely listen to music I've played on once it's out, once it's finalized and done and it's out there. It's someone else's. It's kind of that feeling. I give it to someone else. It's yours now. But as a listener, when I start my journey when the album is out, it's a completely different journey or experience than the experience is as I don't know where I'm getting with this. It's just being the creator of something and being a receiver of something is two very different journeys, I think. So yeah, I think I was reacting to I agree with you. The creative process being the big part of it, or the entire part of it. The creative process, it's so fulfilling, and it's enraging, and it's frustrating, and you fucking hate yourself half of the time, but it's so liberating and it's so fulfilling once it's done. It's like, just like you mentioned, you worked with this, and what fucking piece of shit? Why won't you take shape? And once you find the shape of this thing, it's like, this is beautiful. I love this feeling. This is amazing. Again with the magic, like, whoa, this wasn't there before. Now it's there. I've created something that I like and I'm proud of. That's great.
I don't listen to anything that I do after I'm done with it just because you've heard it so many times and you've really dissected the ever loving crap out of it to the point where
Yeah.
you don't hate it, but
Yes.
it's just you can hear every single nuance and oh god, and
Yeah.
this little thing clicked and that was like a millisecond, and it's just no one on earth is ever going to catch that but you.
Yeah.
But it drives you crazy, and you've heard it so many times, and you just don't care anymore. Like it's
Yeah.
because in your
Kind
mind
of.
it's hey, I heard the final product, I love the final product, I'm good. I don't
Yeah.
really need to
Exactly.
interact with this anymore.
Which is so strange in a way, but because it's not because you hate it. You're probably and hopefully proud of it. I am, and still I don't want to listen to it. Maybe I do in a few months or a couple of years, or I mean, listening back after a while and having a proper mental, emotional distance to it, it can be interesting. It's like, oh, this is this song, and we did this thing there, and hopefully you can even listen to it from an outside perspective at times, and which is also interesting because when you're in it, you're in, as you say, you're just so in it. You're hearing everything from the inside. So yeah, it's good to take a break from it, I think.
Do you ever come home and the family's listening to anything you've ever made, or is that just kind of completely off the table?
Often. No, often. And I would never stop them. But I don't put it on myself. But I mean, no, they listen to it. They enjoyed Monolord, which is nice. I mean, that's not a given, but they both like it.
We were talking about Suno and all that stuff, and in the studio world, are you seeing a lot of people coming in with AI assisted demos or AI assisted stems or anything like that? Or I would imagine for you, not as much because you're working with more like, I guess, salt of the earth, kind of just real bands doing real music. And I don't hesitate to say that because I don't think AI music is real music. So, but do you see people coming in with these kind of things or AI generated ideas or anything like that?
Not yet. I know that it exists, and I know it exists all the way up to actual production, and in bigger productions than one might think. Really mainstream artists use parts of their released albums. It's AI generated and real music played on top of that. But no, I don't. No, yeah, not yet. And I think it's for exactly the reasons you mentioned. It's usually traditional bands that come to me, and they usually loathe AI. Apart from when it comes to artwork for covers, for some reason, I don't get that. Everything recording wise it has to be very down to earth. And here's our cover, which is made in ChatGPT in 10 minutes. But music wise, no, not that much, or nothing at all actually. I've seen it a bit in the mixing part that more and more plugins is leaning that way. I subscribe to some plugin services, plugin packages, and some of the plugins within those packages are straight up AI. I don't use them, but they're part of the package deal, the bundle deal, which I hate. I think it's sad. Um, but then again, I think it can be useful when used as a tool, as a proper tool, not as a generative tool, but as a proper tool. For example, cleaning up noise. Their AI is perfect with that. You have a sound source, you have something, you have a guitar, for example, and there is some power surge disturbance or something in there that's not supposed to be there, and you can clean that up with the help of an AI assisted plugin, for example. I think that's a great tool because that doesn't take away from the creativity. It doesn't take away from the guitar player's effort, or it doesn't take away anything. It doesn't add anything. It's me dictating what the tool is supposed to do. And in that sense, AI has been part of the plugin world for many years, way before ChatGPT became mainstream. It's been kind of it's kind of the engine within some plugins, but not as a creative engine, just the engine that runs the function. And with that, it's great. I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing to have a little brain that can learn how to emulate analog, for example. Emulate the randomness that is analog, that is, it doesn't sound exactly the same every time, or yeah, however that works. But as long as it's a tool that's guided by me or run by me, I make the creative choices. I think it's fine, but I think it's straight up sad to see AI being used as a creative tool. I think
it just makes music and all that into, I guess, another facet of like the content industry, right? Like it's less about
yeah,
the artistry of it
yeah.
and more just about it's just content at that point. It's just content. Like it's not.
It's just yeah, it is. But I also, again, going back to what we discussed before, I struggle with seeing how that part will take over, because if you generate music that way, it's empty, and it's never going to be anything else. It's never going to be anything but empty. It can sound correct, and it's going to get even better at sounding real, and it's already there. I mean, you can make music that sounds incredibly real. It sounds like it's played by humans, sung by humans, everything, but it's still empty. There's nothing there. And that means it usually falls flat. It's not interesting, but because something in us picks up that, yeah, this is a boring release from a boring band, because the boring band doesn't exist. It's just like yeah, it's gloss, nothing else.
Well, and also, this is something that I had wanted to talk about, and I probably will at some point, but I don't think there's any culture to be had around it either. Because, for instance, we'll use Monolord, right? Like, you wrote and recorded a record, and now I'm talking to you about that record and a bunch of other stuff. Like, I can have a conversation with you about your creative process and, and how this came together and all that stuff. AI music is just you hit a button and it just exists. Like there's
Yeah,
no conversation to be had. There's no real culture to be had around it, and you just got to wonder how much of this is a novelty that will ultimately just fall flat because yeah, people are going to get sick of it. It's just going to rehash the same things over and over and over and over again until it's just this gray noise.
yeah, I think so. I do, however, think that it's gonna be developed to the point where it's gonna be able to create something new that we haven't heard before, which is scary and also sad. But I think the way you put it is spot on. I think the culture, the conversation around it still doesn't exist, and that makes it boring. it loses the human connection. And I think I keep turning back to that, but I think the human connection is everything. Speaking of the magic in music, that is the human connection. That is pure humanity. I mean, listening to music, experiencing music, and if it comes from something empty, I mean, it's empty.
Yeah,
there's nothing there.
It's just it's sad. It really is. It is sad. It's depressing to see people falling, I guess, prey to these companies that don't care about the quality of art. They don't care about the integrity of music. It's all just, marketing BS and all that, but people are falling for it. I mean, some of these songs are charting and it's a problem. And I really truly in my heart think it's disgusting because again, going back to the start of the conversation, when you played me that song for the first time in the studio, I mean, like, I'm sitting there like borderline laughing, like this is fucking incredible. And
Yeah.
you don't have that with music that's just being produced as content.
No, you don't. I agree.
And, to a lesser extent too, we had talked about, the new Monolord record, and we had also spoken about some songs that, you had recorded and not released. And I'm sure that will probably get picked up by some metal media outlet and treated as like, oh, Monolord has a secret EP. They have a bunch of songs they never recorded. So it is a little frustrating too, I guess, in the creative world that it is still treated as content in a way, but I guess less so than, obviously just sitting down at Suno and typing in "make me the metal banger,"
Yeah. I mean, the content creator world is kind of necessary evil for all of us.
Oh, I guess, yeah. And here we are talking on a podcast. So,
two dudes even. What the fuck?
Yeah. Two boring dudes talking about things and stuff.
Love it.
Oh, man. So I guess to wrap things up here, I wanted to ask, what have you been listening to lately? You're home from tour.
Oh,
you got plenty of family time. You're working on new records with whoever in the studio. What have you been listening to?
I gotta check my phone here.
Dude, that's anytime anybody asks me, yo, what bands do you like? And I'm like, oh, I like music. Hold on, I gotta look.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've told you this before. I'm stupid with names. I have an actual problem. There is something wrong with me. It's this is the album with the thing on it. I love that album.
Oh, the amount of times I've been like, dude, it's like the metal album. It's got like the yellow cover with like the dude. And
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's all of them, dude.
And the thing in the song.
Yeah. They got that one song about like stabbing a guy or whatever. Is that?
I'm looking right. Oh, that's right. There was a band in Denver that opened the night. Local band, I think, called Ghosts of Glaciers. That show was incredible. Damn. I've been listening lots to their Eternal album. And then Andrew Black, like I mentioned. Jack White's new one, I think is nice. Russian Circles. I'm really looking forward to the new one. The 9 single is incredible, I think. The new Mono, I discovered a little late, but that's great.
Oh yeah.
And it could go on. There's so much. Do you know the band Almas from Barcelona?
Who is it? No, I don't think I've heard of that.
ULMUS. Do you know the designer Error Design? Does a lot of show posters, like Branca Studio, if you know that guy.
Yeah, I know that guy, yes.
Yeah, same style.
Oh, okay.
He has a band called Almas, which is incredibly beautiful, and now he started a black metal project with a lot of the same songs in black metal versions, and that album is... I'm gonna send it to you later. I don't know how it's pronounced. Sotabosch. I don't know. Spanish something.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy.
And it's incredible. It's incredible. And I was surprised. I really enjoy the new Mastodon singles. I didn't think I would. And last night I was just on repeat. This is great. Oh, it's getting even greater. This is amazing. Ooh, I love this.
I wasn't going to rule them out because that's not fair, but there was definitely the eye of like, this is the first post Brent Hines record. Let's see how they do.
Yeah.
And those 2 singles are good.
Yeah, they're great. They're really good. But I listened just after watching the Mastodon in the Room, which I thought was beautiful.
Oh, that was
I'll
brutal.
say, yeah, it was. But I think it was a nice thing of them to make. And it felt like, I don't know, it felt like they found maybe Reed found something in processing the death of him and all that. I don't know. Beautiful tingles. There was something in there, I think.
I'm starting to feel bad for that band because it feels like every record that they put out is in memory of one or several people that have passed away.
Yeah.
And it seemed like this new one was going to be like the one where they could just write about something. I remember Braun Daler had said at some point that like, oh, we're going to do this supernatural horror record and all that. And unfortunately now they're forced to memorialize yet another friend. I mean, good Lord, cut these guys a break at this point, you know?
Yeah, it's rough. It is. I think it's going to be great, though.
I have faith. The guest list is insane, too. I mean, it's what? Dudes from Converge, Gojira's on there, Joe Duplantier from Gojira.
I didn't know.
Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath is on a song.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. And I think it, just based on the two songs and the guest list, I'm assuming this is going to be like just a really just nice, powerful celebration of life, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to listening to it.
Yeah. Same. It's going to be interesting.
Absolutely.
For sure.
All right, man. Well, I will let you get back to your day here. Thank you so much for being on the first ever episode of the Mostly Yelling podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me. Always.
Dude, we've been talking about this for a while now, and I am truly, genuinely thrilled that you're here, man. Thank you so much.
Man, likewise. Good to be here.
Thank you so much for listening to the first episode of the Mostly Yelling podcast. I'm Greg Kennelty. You can find me on Substack at mostlyelling.substack.com. You can also find my music on all streaming services and on Bandcamp. The project name is Disintegration Annex, and I release quite a bit of music. It's a lot of fun. Now go forth and listen to great art and make great art and be cool to one another above all.